YCN, your local view on WVBK-CA, serving Manchester, Londonderry, Vermont, and South Charlestown, New Hampshire, and WVBQ-LP, serving Charlestown, New Hampshire, and Rockingham, Vermont.
Coming up tonight on YCN, a child dies from the flu, raising the death toll to 35. The Claremont Police Department is low on officers and could be hiring 2 more. And we'll hear from State Representative Neil Kirk about some of the past issues that have been going on in the State House. With more news, sports, and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that is happening in our area. The YCN News Hour, your local view.
Welcome to YCN. I'm David Carmichael. The flu epidemic in New Hampshire has now claimed the life of a child. State health officials say hospitals like Dartmouth-Hitchcock are still seeing extremely high numbers of flu patients. The number of flu-related deaths in the state has increased to 35, the highest death toll since 1997. The department says the child who died was under 5 years old. No further information was available. Claremont Police Department has lost 7 officers, leaving the department shorthanded, even with new recruits getting ready to join. In the last 2 years, they've lost 2 to Newport, 3 to Plainfield, and 1 to the state police. 2 new officers recently started work, and 2 more are at the academy. The department is budgeted for 24 officers and will be up to 22 if the candidates who have been offered the jobs make it through the academy. A state legislation committee is considering a bill requiring that elderly drivers take road tests to renew their driver's licenses. Betty Chapman told the House of Transportation Committee yesterday that her husband and another motorcyclist were killed last year in Newport when they were hit by a car driven by an 87-year-old man. A proposed beer tax in New Hampshire is falling flat. Keene State Representative Charles Weed wanted to increase the beer tax a dime a gallon to raise more than $4 million for substance abuse prevention. But the state's influential House Ways and Means Committee voted Tuesday by a 14-2 margin to effectively kill the bill, and the union leader reports that Governor Maggie Hassan has promised to veto it if it gets to her desk. In his first public assessment of his 8 years of being governor since leaving office earlier this year, former Governor John Lynch said he ran New Hampshire with business-minded principles of the bottom line and suggested it was a model that the rest of the country should adopt. His near 90-minute presentation, delivering the first ever Perkins Bass lecture at Dartmouth College, was as wide-ranging as it was candid. He talked about his business career, the lack of communication between himself and former House Speaker Bill O'Brien, meeting 4th graders on their State House tour, the all-female delegation, the need for schools to cut cost and improve output by using more technology, and the greatest challenges that Governor Maggie Hassan now faces. The U.S. Forest Service announced on Monday that the White Mountain National Forest in New Hampshire is honored on an America the Beautiful quarter recently released by the U.S. Mint. The coin depicts Mount Chicora, the easternmost peak of the Sandwich Range, framed by birch trees, pristine lakes, and thick forest land surrounded by the nearly 3,500-foot peak rising from the rugged landscape and a favorite with hikers. The U.S. Postal Service plans to hire 200 new mail carriers in New England over the next few weeks. The agency says the positions are in New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont and should last for just under a year with a starting wage at $15 per hour. The post office should be accepting applications for city carrier assistants on Wednesday. People can apply for the current positions through February 3rd, and the agency says it plans to have more openings later in February. Applicants do have to pass an entrance exam for the post office and undergo background checks. The sharing spirit, tradition, and experience resulted in a consensus that the Warner Fall Foliage Festival will live on. What comes next is the February 7th meeting on Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Pillsbury Free Library, where they will elect a new board of directors. At the suggestion of the 100-plus people who showed up last night, a new committee will be formed to work on a 5-year plan to ensure the future of the festival. For these stories and more, be sure to like our Facebook page where you can get a chance to win 4 free Ragged Mountain tickets. We will draw a name every 2 weeks, and you could be the lucky winner. All right, after the break, we'll get a taste of the Henniker Brewing Company, so if you like beer, crack a cold one, and stick around to learn all about this great local brewery.
The YCN News Hour continues in a moment.